Namaste everyone. So this is my next video of this series that I've been doing, and so this particular video is about Kundalini energy. My last two videos were about the chakra system and also addressing each of the chakra in detail. And so this video I thought of doing on the Kundalini energy to kind of complete the whole topic. So to start with, as I discussed in my previous videos, that there is this special nadi which is located along the vertical axis of the spine, and this nadi is called Sushumna nadi. So in this nadi, there is this special type of energy that kind of resides, and this energy is called Kundalini energy, and it's like it's in yogic text it's depicted in the form of a serpent, and it's 3.5 fold approximately. So I had also discussed in the previous video before that there are these two currents that kind of flow upward and downward. And so the current which flows upward is called the current of liberation, and the current which kind of flows downward is called current of manifestation. So these are the two currents which are responsible for these energy vortex, for these chakras to kind of function properly, because they kind of maintain the flow of energy passing through each of the vortex. So saying any of these chakras is blocked is basically the flow of this Kundalini energy kind of restricts in the Sushumna nadi. So you might have heard about Kundalini yoga. So in Kundalini yoga they basically focus on the upward current of liberation, but as compared in other Vinyasa yoga styles, for example Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga or even Iyengar yoga, they kind of focus on both the currents, the current of liberation as well as the current of manifestation, because when you raise your energy high, you need to also kind of ground it to kind of counterbalance the energy. So often in these yogic texts, this serpent energy, this Kundalini, is referred as Shakti. And why it's referred as Shakti is because this serpent energy, when you choose a spiritual path, then the serpent energy kind of meets this divine consciousness, this higher energy which is often referred as Shiva, the universal consciousness. And so this Kundalini energy kind of liberates through all the energy centers, and it reaches the seventh chakra, and there they both kind of unite. That's why yoga is also referred as a path of unison. Now yoga in its real sense means communion of both these energies, the Kundalini energy and the divine consciousness, which is referred as Shiva. So that's when these two energies meet, that's when you feel more connected to yourself and also connected to something which is bigger than yourself, something which is there throughout. Now I'm just really scratching the surface here. There is a lot more. If you go in depth, if you read about it, there is a lot more that you would find out. Now, so I see a lot of these courses where they kind of offer you a 7-day or even a month course where they kind of tell you that they will awaken your Kundalini and all that stuff. To be honest, I don't know how much of it is true, because I think this path is a long path, and you can't just like liberate someone within a period of week or even month or even a year, for that sake. I mean, if you're ready, you can always be liberated, but that's when you are ready. So I think it takes a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of discipline and dedication to kind of reach that stage. So that's all in this video. Thank you so much for watching my series. I'll be doing more videos in the coming week. Till then, stay safe, take care.